This video may change how you approach sales for the rest of your life. Yes, that is a massive claim. How can I sit here and say, you give me a few minutes of your time, I'm going to change how you sell for life? Well, I encourage you to watch or listen all the way to the end and think about these 3 dominoes I'm about to teach you. Yep, 3 dominoes. Think of them like dominoes you used to play with. You got to knock one down in order to get to the next one, in order to get to the next one. And these dominoes must fall in the right sequence before you even have a chance of closing the sale. If you've ever heard the most common objections, by the way, like you go through the sales presentation, you get to the end, and the homeowner says, hey, thanks for coming out, we'll call you if we're interested. Or, hey, thanks, I just want to talk to my husband or my wife, and then we'll call you back. Or, hey, thanks for coming out, we just want to wait and see what other contractors or what the insurance says first. If you've ever heard any of those objections, it's likely because these 3 dominoes were not knocked down in the right order. So let me lay the foundation, and then we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of this. These 3 dominoes, we have to think of sales like stepping up a staircase. We can't jump from here all the way to the top. No one's that strong and powerful to leap up an entire flight of stairs. And another analogy, for those of you that like analogies, it's like dating. Sales is like dating. You can't walk into a home and then ask the beautiful woman you just saw to disrobe and run herself up the staircase and you to follow suit. It just doesn't work that way on a first date. We have all of the things we need to do to get to that point. You're taking on a date, you're building a bond, you're starting a relationship, you're having good conversation, you go out to dinner, you see him again, right? So we have to go through all these steps in order. And one of the biggest mistakes people make is they skip steps. They get really eager and excited to hop, and just, I want to get to the end. And we need to exercise restraint. We need to go through the process in the right order by knocking down these 3 dominoes. Ready? Welcome. Or welcome back. My name is Adam Bensman, the Roof Strategist, and everything I do here on this channel is designed to help you and your team smash your income goal and give every customer an amazing experience. Now, I want you to dive right back into what I just said. Smash your income goal and give every customer an amazing experience. And let me tell you, when you, at least for me, and this is why a lot of folks are gravitated, maybe this is the same for you, gravitated towards my sales approach, is the values and the philosophy and the ease of being able to replicate this, because there's a lot in sales that may quote unquote work. Hey, I'm calling about your car warranty that expired. Do you think this works? The answer is yes, or they wouldn't do it. Is it how you want to go to bed every night? Is it how you want your customers to feel? Well, that's not entirely up to you, but I'll tell you from my vantage point, the answer is a resounding absolutely not. The reason I say that is there's a balance and a fine line that, in my opinion, which may or may not be popular belief, walk of saying, I want my customer experience to be amazing because I'm not winning unless that is also being accomplished. Hence, you smash your income goal and every customer has an amazing experience. This particular training video we're about to get into now on these 3 dominoes to knock down in sequence, just like the playing game as a kid, dominoes. You have to stack up this domino, tip it over, hits the next domino, hits it over, hits the next domino, hits it over. These need to go in order. Once you knock them down in order, the close is what we call a lay down deal. Ready to get into it? All right. Now, I want to just get one thing out of the way early. There's a few pieces, if you're using my all-in-one sales training, sales strategy, and sales system called the Roofing Sales Success Formula, you're going to say, hey, this sounds a whole lot like that one thing that's in there. And it's actually the opposite. More on that in a second. The other thing that I want to touch on is these dominoes are strategically baked into my car park closing formula that I teach, that assures you that by following each step of that car park process, you're going to be knocking these dominoes down in order. All right. So if you're already following and doing this, you're doing this without knowing it maybe, and that's excellent. It does not matter. Now that you will know the philosophy behind this, you can kind of supercharge those efforts. So first, we're going to cover a little backwards route into this topic. We're talking about the dominoes to close sales. So I'm going to pump the brakes for a minute, and I just said we're going to talk about the opposite, which is objections. Now, if you've been following along, I want to ask you, this is quiz time. What are the 3 objection categories that I teach? Number 1 is trust, meaning the homeowner doesn't trust you yet, okay? These are very common objections. By the way, all objections will funnel into one of these three categories. Number 2 is need. This is a need for your services or a need for a roof. And then number 3 is money. Too high of an estimate, don't want to pay their deductible. It is my belief that all 3 of these objection categories are all there is. Ultimately, when we look beyond the words, the word for word, everything funnels into this. By the way, I just had a company jump on board February. They're in a market that experiences winter. They went through this. They just had their best February ever. And I hear from the owner, John, thank you, by the way. And he says, Adam, this whole objection handling ARO on those 3 categories supercharged our sales. We had our best February ever. The reason I share this up front is you're going to see how this ties into these 3 dominoes here in just a second. When we understand to look beyond the words of what someone says and really resonate on the feeling of what's being said, because you and I both know, when I say, hey, I got to talk to my wife, it doesn't mean to be like, hey, Sheena, I can't wait to talk to you about the solar deal that the guy talked. No, it just means I just want to get off the phone. If they say, hey, I just want to wait and see what the insurance company says, it means they don't trust you. They don't trust you to be there. If they say, my roof is fine, it's a need issue. They don't think they need a roof. If they say your estimate's too high or I don't want to pay my deductible, it's a money issue. So when we learn to actually recognize what's being said, we can then speak to the deeper meaning behind it. Now, this is where it gets fun. Watch what I'm going to do here. And if you are on the podcast, I'm going to narrate what's happening. So I just erased the word objections. And what I'm going to put down here instead is the 3 dominoes to close. Do you notice something? What changed? Nothing. The 3 objection categories just so happen to be the 3 dominoes that must be tackled in order to close the sale. What I want to break down for you is some sales psychology. All right. And by the way, if you've seen me speak, if you've been at conferences or any of my breakout sessions, you've likely seen me do this. Everything we do is either helping build more trust or kill trust. And what often happens in the sale is this trust we've been building, we then kill. This is the first domino. Let me just ask you the first question. Who do people buy from? People they know, people they like, and people they trust. Can you ask for the sale if someone doesn't trust you? Absolutely not. If you do, what's going to happen? You're not going to get it. Can you sell someone a roof they don't need? No. Not if they are not aware they need the roof, they don't think they need it, they will never buy it. And if they think that it's too expensive, are they going to buy it? No, they will not. However, can you show someone that they need a roof if they don't trust you yet? Absolutely not. Will they give you the time of day? Absolutely not. Can you start selling a roof to someone if they don't need it? Or talk about the money? No. So we have to go through this in order. First, develop the trust. This is the first part of the car park formula. Connect and assess, which leads us to need. Assess and report. There's an overlap. Only towards the end do we focus on the money, in the present. It's funny, right? People think closing is presenting. What I teach in my system, the car park, goes through these dominoes in order. Now back to you. How do you change this? Here's the number 1 takeaway that I want you to have. When we approach a sale, I want you to ask yourself this question in the back of your mind. Do they trust me? When I'm at the door, my main mission is to develop trust, to communicate in a way that removes fear, doubt, worry, or concern so I can get up on that roof. Once I'm on that roof, which by the way, will they allow you on the roof if they don't trust you? No. This here is the foundation for all sales. Once they trust you and you're on the roof, now what are you focused on doing? Documenting the evidence that they need a roof. Showing them indisputable proof that they need a roof. By the way, in my car park formula, my training in there, and the closing strategy, I teach how to get the homeowner telling you that the roof is damaged because they expect us to do it. So we then go from developing trust to get on the roof, to creating the need, to getting in the house, to continually building and reinforcing that trust, strengthening the need and getting that homeowner engaged in the process, and then learning how to overcome the money issue first. By the way, what I teach here, and you've probably heard me say this on the channel, is I open up my presentation before I even talk about the company or myself. by saying, hey, Mr. Homeowner, I just want you to know you can choose anyone you like and you trust for this process. Of course, I hope it's me. And then I qualify that. I explain why, and I use this as an opportunity to tackle the money issue, why your estimate may be higher and why they, with the insurance process, their rate is essentially fixed. And I overcome this whole money concern, the biggest objection straight out of the gate before I even move into the presentation. So at this point, I've built unshakable trust. There's an undeniable need, and the whole money concern should be tackled up front. Now we have all of their worries at ease, captive attention to go through a presentation and ask for the business. Your mission now is to focus. Trust, need money, trust, need money, trust, need money, trust, need money. I'm going to say it one more time so it burns into your brain. Trust, need, and money. Not only are these the 3 objection categories, by the way, I teach in great detail in my objection strategy how to identify those and how to overcome them using my ARO formula. But you also know that those coincide with the 3 dominoes that you need to knock down in order to close the sale. Listen, if you want more about this, or maybe you want to get your team trained up, or if you're an individual rep, by the way, I have a plan for you as well. And it's called the Roofing Sales Success Formula. It's my all-in-one sales training, sales strategy, and sales system. It's the best way to get your hands on my entire start to finish, knock to close sales system that you can be following here like that. I go through it in a lightning fast 9.5 hours for you or your team. And it's being used by thousands of reps in the field as we speak. I've got new stuff coming to that program. All of our existing customers are going to be getting that for free. Owners are going to love it. There's 4 new programs that are being totally overhauled and added new in response to the feedback that I asked for to make this the best program possible. That's why I stay so up to date. So thank you again for joining me. If you're interested in any of those, I want to put my phone number up here. Excuse me, when I say this is our phone number. I do not field to our phone, just as a heads up. If you call a member of our team, we'll be happy to help. That's 303-222-7133. That's 303-222-7133. You can call or text. Alia can answer all your questions, set us up for a call if it makes sense, and happy to do it. But I want to make sure that you're comfortable with this. So anyway, there's that. Now, let's talk about hey, maybe you're one of those people that wants to learn a little bit more. If that's you, you got two paths to take, all right? And by the way, one more thing. In the description on the podcast and YouTube channel, there's links to the product and program. There's links to the phone number, so you can call or text. And I want to make sure you are comfortable and confident. And that's why I offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. All right, now, enough of that. Back to you. 2 paths. You want to sample a little bit more, which you should, right? Maybe you say, hey, I want to really get a taste for this thing and see if the style jives with me. Right here, you can click and download a free copy of my Pitch Like a Pro Roofing Sales Training Video Library. Inside, I recommend clicking through the objections and the closing playlist. Okay, in here, tons of videos. And if you want to just jump straight in and say, hey, give me more of this whole car park, I did it's a deep dive longer video on YouTube right here to learn my car park formula to get a good taste of that style and flow. If you are already saying, hey, I'm ready to rock and roll, or I want to learn more, you can reach out to us. I'd be honored to support you and your team as you smash your income goal and give every customer an amazing experience. We'll see you in the next one.